So today's video is kind of a fun little project for us because we've been talking, as many of you know, about sprouting seeds for a very long time. We're avid seed savers, which we'll link a video above on some of our seed saving type stuff. And well, you know us, we like to save seeds. And as you can see from our collection here, we save a lot of seeds. So sprouting just seemed a logical option. Now, one question that we've had come up a lot is, what is our preference for the types of seed we use? What's the taste? How do we find it works? That sort of thing. So we're going to go through all this in a video today. Well, it's actually going to take 3 days, but you're going to see it in today because we just purchased some sprouting lids and we're going to get down to business. No funny stuff this time. So basically what we have here is our red Russian kale seeds that we harvested in 2021, as well as our drumhead cabbage seeds, which we also harvested in 2021. And also, as you've just seen recently in our video on our turnip seed harvest, we will be trying sprouting the turnip seeds. And as a bonus, we're going to sprout our mung beans because we've had these for a long time. We've planted them in the garden this year with the intention of sprouting mung beans over the wintertime for bean sprouts. It's a great source of many great things. So we have our 4 lids, 4 jars, and a tablespooner. Basically, that's it. We're going to put 2 tablespoons in each one of these jars, and then we're going to soak them, or I guess rinse them first, drain them, and then we're going to soak them overnight. So let's get started. So there they all are, ready to soak overnight. We did 2 tablespoons in each jar, so we'll see what happens over the next few days. So we are now at the end of day 2 on our sprouting. Basically what's happened is we soaked them overnight, strained them, and then rinsed them that morning. And they've now sat overnight and should have probably been rinsed and done this morning, but we got super busy and it just didn't happen. So now we're later in the evening again, but we're going to go through our second rinse with you and show you just how much these have sprouted so far. Definitely our mung beans are sprouting like mad, but that's what mung beans are supposed to do and are renowned for. So we're super pleased with them considering they're quite old seeds. When it comes to the brassicas with the kale, the cabbage, and the turnip is definitely winning on speed for how fast this is sprouting, but that's also the freshest seed, so that could influence a little bit. The other seeds are 2 years old, so maybe that's taking them a little bit of time, but so far very little action happening in the jars, but we're only going into technically not even 2 whole days sprouting yet. So we'll see what happens as we keep going, but next step here is going to be to rinse these again, and when we rinse them, you want to then swirl it around, tip them upside down, and they need to basically drain into the sink for about 15 minutes. You want to get rid of as much excess moisture as you can. And then at that point, what we do is we roll the jar, getting those seeds dispersed along the edges of the glass so that they have great aeration and can really sprout, because I think in the next day or 2, we're really going to see some results here. And I'm so curious and excited to try all these different types. Well, we are going to be taste testing the turnips today on day 4 because as you can see, the turnips are pretty much ready to go and the other stuff is behind. And if we wait for the other stuff to catch up, the turnip stuff is going to be past when it's probably going to be good. So as you can see, amazing sprouting. In 4 days, these have done fantastic. All right, moment of truth. First time trying turnip sprouts. Betting they're going to taste like turnip. Interesting. A bit of a turnip taste, but we're going to let Chris try first and then see. You can tell by my face I'm not thrilled, but I don't mind them.
Let's try it. No, they pretty much taste like any kind of brassica sprout.
I guess they've passed his inspection. So we're now on to day 5 of our sprouting, and we have a few things that are ready and a few things that, to be honest, have gone bad. Now, this is one of our first times actually sprouting all these different types of seeds, and we're not sure exactly what went wrong because we did the same thing for all the jars. So I'm going to show you a little bit here, but you can see the cabbage and the kale both really didn't sprout much at all, and the longer we gave them, the stinkier they got and the more they kind of rotted. So those are a complete loss as far as we're concerned with the sprouting. Now, maybe maybe it was something that we did, but like I said, everything was completely the same. But as you can see from our bean sprouts and our turnip, wow, the turnip is beautiful. We've been eating on it and it keeps sprouting and getting more, which is incredible. So perhaps it is just something about the kale and cabbage seeds and the fact that they take a little bit longer, but we're going to try those again. Maybe not right away, but definitely come fall, we are going to keep going with them. The one thing that we will say is those seeds were older than the turnip seeds. The turnip seeds are very fresh, which obviously means that they want to sprout really quickly.
One thing to consider here, one possible thing that could happen with some of these seeds is that they're too old. The kale and the cabbage seeds are only from 2021. That doesn't sound like it's too old. And we did get germination, but they didn't have great germination. So this kind of brings up a point that maybe this is a case of less is more. And what I mean by that is these are seeds that we're not only saving to make into sprouts, but we're also saving to replant. And in the case of the Brassica family, within the same species, it will cross. The big thing here is, of our little experiment, we had one member that was Brassica napus, that was red Russian kale, one member that was Brassica oleracea, that was the drumhead cabbage, and one member that was Brassica rapa, which was the turnip. Those three species typically don't cross, and therefore, if we want to make this a viable secondary crop, probably the best thing we can do going forward is to only grow 3 varieties, one from each of the 3 species, and produce seed every year, which realistically, if you're trying to produce enough seed to be able to sprout like this, that's probably not a bad plan.
We're enjoying these sprouts as our lunch. As you saw there in the taste test, that was my opinion just straight out of the jar. But I have to say, if I was putting this on burgers or sandwiches or crackers as we are today throughout the winter when I don't have lettuce maybe available, this is fantastic. It's got that just nice little bit of fresh crunch that gives you that feeling that you've got lettuce on your stuff, which I think in the winter, which is when we are actually planning to be using this technique, it's going to be fantastic. All in all, this experiment was great. We've realized we really enjoy them as a kind of lettuce substitute on crackers or sandwiches, things like that. And definitely come winter time when the lettuce isn't so readily available, we're going to love sprouting these seeds. But for now, we're going to stick to our lettuce in the garden and enjoy summer.